handle. Thank you to everyone that participated.
Big boost over a comparative day last year. We love to see that, and everything kind of spread around for the trainers, right? I think it was 11 different trainers. One on yesterday's card, Sheldon with 2, J-Rod with 2. All in all, the late pick 5, 17,000. Again, that 12% low takeout. Get involved early, often, whenever you can. These things, they pay. They pay. Yesterday, our early ticket, I was 4 or 5, didn't have that first race winner. But you know what? Hey, we move on. That's why you jump back in and play the pick 4s after those pick 5s.
And hats off to our racing secretary, Jillian Tulloch, and her squad, because we're right back today with an 11 race card, full fields, and we are still on the turf despite some weather. But we'll get to some business first.
Okay.
We have a great card today. But the Preakness is right down the road. It's a special edition of the Preakness, of course. Not only is it the 150th edition of the second Jewel of Racing's Triple Crown, but the last Preakness at Old Hilltop.
Yeah, holding a lot of memories there, no doubt. It's going to be an emotional day. Anybody that's been involved, I've been around it for 30, 40 years almost now, just going as a kid and then being part of it from the work side. But it just got a special place in my heart, this Old Hilltop. And you know what? We're going to bring her back and better with a bang in a couple years. But looking forward to this Preakness 150.
And we'll be heading over to the Preakness in a couple of weeks, and we'll be starting our Preakness festivities with a bang. The Sunday before Preakness is, of course, Mother's Day at the races, a beloved tradition at Pimlico Racecourse between 11 a.m., 3 p.m. Get tickets at pimlico.com. Treat Mom to a nice day at the races. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, always a great day. Great food, the family, memories. Again, make these memories at the racetrack. And again, the last one at the original Old Hilltop.
And on Mother's Day Eve, we'll see the National Thoroughbred League. It's the biggest party in sports, don't you know, hosted by Lamar Jackson, the owner of the Maryland Colts. Now, again, this is a really new, innovative concept from the National Thoroughbred League, where the team owners, celebrities, Lamar Jackson, Julius Erving, etc., they get to draft horses in certain races on that card at Pimlico. They'll run under those silks. Owner with the most points gets the coveted Pimlico Cup.
The Pimlico Cup, yeah, a lot, in store that particular day. Something to play for. Things to do as well for the kids. So again, bring the family. We want to get these youngsters out there. Give them some Monopoly money to play with or something. Get them a program. Get them a form. Teach them like I was at 6 years old, getting a handle on this game.
Let's check out the weather conditions for today. We did have some rain last night. Main track muddy. Turf is good, but we still have a big day of racing with full fields right now. Temperature 69 degrees. It's very pleasant here in the paddock right now, nice and cool, and we hope that the rain stays away for the rest of the day, because these conditions just add to the complex handicapping challenges that are already on the paper.
Yeah, really challenging card in store. Threw us a little bit of a curveball. This track a little bit more moisture than I thought. You know, got upstairs talking to Mike Beer and yourself and looking, I said, okay, I didn't really completely handicap for these main trackers with some moisture. Yeah, I didn't really have to adjust too much. I've got a couple shots today. Again, it's a card in which you're going to have to spread a little bit. I don't think there's a race, we can nail down one single. It's that tough, but it's a fun card. These are the cards to kind of change things for you from a monetary standpoint in a big way.
Let's kick things off in the opener, one of those big field races, 1 mile on the turf. It's a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds and up. Take out the 2 For the Love of Run. Take out the 13 RJ. That means the 12 Egypt draws into the body of this race. This is the first leg of one of our signature races here at the Maryland Jockey Club, the 12% takeout, lowest in the business, value pick 5, 50-cent minimum wager. Again, you got these big fields, you got this low takeout. It's a no-brainer to play. Yeah,
it is absolutely a no-brainer to play. And if you can pull your money, I think that's a good way to approach these tickets, because they can pay box cars. I had to do a little bit of an audible with the 12, who did not think originally was going to be there. Is here for Horacio De Paz. That is Egypt. I go 9, 11, 12. Richard Feynman. Then what time I do like is some value. Coming back is definitely a changed animal for Duarte and company. Race 2 with the 4 and 6. 2 deep there. Gilda's Girl. Guy for the win. La Chica for Tequila is a horse that I know you like. If you can, Dan, if you can afford to throw that one in, I wouldn't hesitate. Magic 8 Ball is just all or nothing to me. Has that one aberration on a route, I think, with like 80 buyers, something, a low 80, which would throttle this field. But anyhow, We move on. Race 3, 1679. High Tech Prince, maybe from off the pace. Race 4 with the 5 and 7 Magic Express, Uncle Cat. I think the road's going to go through those two. Wrap it up. Race 5, 9 and 10. Coringa Rampageous is another race where you could easily spread the 4 or 5 horses. I had to keep it somewhat reasonable. It's a $48 ticket. Hello, Shug.
And in race number 1, we are going to go with the horse that draws in from the also eligible list. Or at least I'm going to. The number 12, that is Egypt. Egypt only ran once on turf last year and a very strong buyer speed figure in New York. 77 buyer speed figure. I think that race was legitimized because he finished ahead of 2 next out winners, and the horse that ran second in that race then came back to run second in a maiden special at Gulfstream with an 89 buyer speed figure. Now Egypt, I think, has been racing himself back into shape with 2 dirt starts. I think he's better on the turf. He just has to work out a trip. This post position is not ideal.
I agree with you. I go 12, 11, 9, 4 in here. I thought I might have sent it in. I may have omitted that when I resent some stuff, but 12, 11, 9, 4. I see this race with Dan. I think the 11 and the 12 could be forward a long way in here. I don't see anybody really running off the screen early. I think it's going to be a fairly relaxed flow. And we saw in the opener yesterday with Boniface's horse, they get out there at the mile distance to kind of able to control it. I think both of these horses can go a long, long way. A lot of changes for then what time? Gelding, first time Lasix, with blinkers off. Out of an okay field, faced Cinetic over this turf course on the go back at 2. Made a good run after coming away a little bit slowly, but shows some tactical ability, in my opinion. I think the stretch out's going to be fine.
I think the stretch out will be fine. The source I got to see at Laurel last fall, really big-bodied individual, a half Depluska Parfait, who won the UAE Derby at a mile and 3/16. And we do have a trainer stat for trainer Jorge Duarte on the number 11, Then What Time. And Then What Time's trainer stat is experienced runners getting Lasix for the first time, 8 for the last 21, 38%, 308 ROI. This horse should show speed. Let's talk a little bit about Kitty's Son, a horse that we don't have necessarily in our picks, but we do have a video spotlight for this horse. I think he's a little bit underrated coming in today.
He is, and this is a situation we talk about quite a lot, Dan. A horse is moving from 2 to 3, showed okay ability on the turf course, now a little bit more mature, and has an opportunity now getting first-time Lasix. So this is a barn that's been rolling right along. Jose Corrales got the nightcap last time. But Kitty's Son in this particular race in a bigger field makes a pretty long sustained run 4 wide to go ahead and get a short lead in mid-stretch. Just can't quite seal the deal.
But it was a good performance nonetheless. It looks like he has this race won, and then I think he starts waiting on other horses. You saw him drift down, a little bit confused what to do once to make the lead, and then he just flattens out a bit at the end. A promising enough performance. It shows he could step on the turf. Let's talk about Cooper, the number 4. This horse, we have a trainer stat for Jack Fisher, who runs very well on turf in Maryland. 4 for the last 12, 33%, $2.73 ROI. But this past performance line doesn't tell the whole story about Cooper, because Cooper ran in one of those point-to-point races on March the 30th, going a mile and a half. He finished 7th that day, but it's not really a layoff for Cooper.
No.
This horse should be fit and ready to go, getting Lasix for the first time as a new gelding.
That's one thing you and McKenzie, she kind of gave us a little heads up on where we can go to find this information. So I'll let her talk about that maybe a little bit later this afternoon. But exactly, Cooper got that experience recently. Fisher, Boyce combination, year in and year out, has been very good. This horse got bumped around at the break last time, settled back, just didn't quite kick in. A little willingness late, but I've seen this movie before where these horses can make big jumps. Cooper just certainly could. Second dam, a graded stakes place type on the turf. 4 for 14 with a top of 98 on the Beyer scale.
Graham Motion's hoping to combine all of the proper elements with the 9 Richard Feynman, who ran on synthetic in the debut in France. And I didn't think had a very good trip that day. Ran on dirt last time out, now getting to turf. Something tells me this horse can run a little bit.
And you look at the bottom side, the mare rate 6 for 12, 400K earner, multiple grade 3 stakes placed, grade 3 winner, I believe, in the States. So there's a lot there to like. This is the surface I think he needs to be on. He's going to get his opportunity today. Would be no surprise. Again, you've got Ruiz, you've got Motion. They're about 30%, 35% strike rate. And this one's meant to be on the grass.
And you got a Chad Brown first-time starter. Last but certainly not least, what do you do with Jurisprudence? A 40-year-old debuter by Constitution, a $210,000 purchase, and a half to encoder, a stake source on the turf.
Yeah, and you're going back. I looked this morning. Chad Brown only 0 for 2 the past 5 years at Laurel with first times. Doesn't do this a whole lot. I'm gonna take a wait and see approach. Maybe use a little bit underneath in the exactus if I can get some value. Maybe with the 12 or 11 or 12 right now. I think this 12 is going to come down, but what's he doing here? That's the biggest question for me.
We're both going to see if Egypt can come in off the also eligible list firing. 12 at 11.94 for Keith, 12.11.34 for me. Let's move on to race number 2. Mile and a 16th, 25 down to 20 claimers, now winners of 3 life. Tai Lai on the 2. La Chica for Tequila, first leg. 50-cent pick 4. If you're out of the pick 5, play the pick 4. The prices have been good. If you're not out of the pick 5, play the pick 4. The prices have been good.
Yeah, in looking at this race, we talk about the jockeys sometimes. You know, they got to deal with the agency. Okay, are we going to make the right selection? Hazelwood on the overnight was named on La Chica for Tequila. Ends up going for Guy for the win for Hugh McMahon. I thought the last race was good. Now, did ride a little bit of the wave of the racetrack. That was one of those distinct outside closer type of days on April the 12th. A little bit of a similar track to what she's going to get today. I think she's just kind of going in the right direction. Gets a little flow in here. Obviously, Gilda's Girl is going to kind of spy Magic 8-Ball for Ness, but I think if we can save any kind of ground and sustain, I think this horse is logical to me to just grind it out late.
Wet track helps Guy for the win. I'm not sure about the 2 turns. We're going to find out more if this horse is more of a closing sprinter or can stretch her ability around 2 turns. We do have a stat for trainer Hugh McMahon on Guy for the win. Last out winners, 25% positive ROI, $2.08. La Chica for Tequila is a 1-run closer. She is at the mercy of race and pace luck. I'm hoping she gets a little bit of pace in here. Last time she kind of just saved ground, angled out, finished evenly. I like the gallop out. We do have a trainer stat. Jose Corrales has been red hot recently, and we do have a stat for the number 2, La Chica for Tequila. We don't have a stat for La Chica for Tequila. I got it somewhere. Then let's talk. Let me tell you something. Corrales is winning races.
He's winning races. He's winning in bunches. And again, with I think a horse like Rascalia on the outside can add to the flow. It's going to help the chances. She's just getting better and better and better, is La Chica for Tequila.
Gilda's Girl is a very logical contender because a wet track is what she prefers. I thought she ran well last time out. She had to go on a really hard chase to go after the pace setter and then understandably flattened out. I don't think the fractions are going to be as hot. I think she'll be right there when they turn for home.
Agreed. Now, I thought she was on the better part of the racetrack that particular day. Horses going longer. They were making the close in the middle of the track. But you're right. That early move was a little aggressive. Just took too much out of her.
Magic 8-Ball was wired last time out in New York and then was purchased at auction for $19,000. This time around, this one looks like the speed. It might be very, very tough to catch.
Anytime you see these horses on the go back have a pop number like that in 82, and it's Ness, pay attention because they can come back and just run lights out. They can manage to get back to those kind of fakes.
Guy for the win needs to prove it around 2 turns. La Chica for Tequila needs a little bit of pace help. You're going 6.452. I'm going 2.645 in the second. We'll move on to race number 3. Race number 3 is at 5.5 furlongs. This is on the turf. 40,000 down to 32 for 3-year-olds and up. Take out the 2, Elusive Image. Race number 3 will begin with the number 1, High Tech Prince. We got a video spotlight for High Tech Prince. Take it away.
Yeah, this is a race going back November 9th before the layoff. I thought, all in all, pretty good effort. This horse paired up 70 buyer figures. That kind of number is going to work against this group. This horse has back sprint form as well. I kind of like a little bit of the setup. I think we're going to have some speed in here. Watch how World's drawn in. This is the move here, Dan. You've got a loose leader out there cutting it out at a pretty good flow. 23, 4, 46, and 2, picking up 10 and change. Makes this run inside a rival maybe a little intimidating, a little brush, gets in a little tight. But I thought all in all, still gave effort after making that move into that pace.
I'm not sure High Tech Prince is winning even if he gets through. But he had to go a second quarter mile when the pace setter went 22 and 3 with that horse leaning on him on the outside on a hard chase. And he is still very, very game at the wire. He's trying hard. Now we're going to have to deal with a long layoff and him cutting back all the way in distance. He has won sprinting in the past, but let's be honest. He needs a little bit of pace luck. He needs a little bit of race luck, breaking from the rail to sharper sprint.
Yeah, Jan Rodriguez, a younger rider, dealing with this. You know, you've got to hope this horse gets okay position into the turn. I say it all the time. Without, the horses come over, you got to be really, really good. And I think if he can settle in an okay position, I think the field, those outer horses are going to get away from him a little bit. But if he can get away unscathed, leaving the far turn, he's got a chance to ramp it up against this field. And he's a horse that's kind of gotten back and improved. when taking the Lasix off. You don't see that a lot, but this is one, it's worked for him.
Talk me on to the 6, Lothario, going
Yeah.
out for a really underrated turf trainer in Sarah Nagel.
Well, we got burned yesterday. We tried Nagel. We had that horse with Ruiz. Anytime they seek Ruiz, I'm going to pay certain attention to. This is another horse that could get away at an okay price. You got line at 6. I like that. This horse has just run its best races over the Laurel turf course and has the ability to sit just off of it. You're going back at the 2-year-old, way back in that 2-year-old race in October 23. Ran okay. I think this horse has got a shot. Is that the 3-year-old? Yeah, and it has speed. Beats Elon there. I don't know. If I want him on the lead, just off of it, though, is when I'm going to prefer maybe a tracking trip with some cover mid-turn.
And I think with horses like Bourbon Boston, Watch Out World, the 13 getting into the race, you can work out that trip off of the lead. I've never been a big fan of the 13 Watch Out World, but you have to admit, the 73 and 72 buyers in the last 2 turf races at Laurel Park put her right into the mix here. I thought she had a good trip last time out, but that was a pretty solid pace. The first 2 finishers came from way out of it, and she was right up close. The winner came back and ran 3rd yesterday with a 72 buyer. Again, not a big fan of Watch Out World, but I think with her speed from the outside post, she can work out a pretty good trip.
Yeah, another horse that's going to be part of it, I think, Lou's birthday. And let's take a look at the 9. Bourbon Boss, you do not have it in the mix, but Mike Pino, a little stat for this runner, has shown that speed going longer on the turf. But he's been good here. Past 5 years on the turf, 4 for 9. Second off the claim with an ROI of 798. I think this horse can mix it up, going synth to turf, and stay around.
Speaking of stats, let's have one for the 7, Contemplation for trainer Michael Stidham. Dirt to turf, 6 for the last 29, positive return on investment. I thought this horse was just in a bit tight on the fence last time out. Over and behind horses in the stretch. That was 2 back on the turf. I think this horse is obviously better on the turf. They kept him in last time out. He's hit the board in both turf tries. He looks solid.
Okay, so we're going to key around High Tech Prince in here, it looks like. Let's see what kind of number we get for this Chucky Lawrence runner.
And I don't want to discard Colonel Bob, who's only raced once on turf. It was in against Stakes Company. We do have a stat for Butch Reed, who's been firing hard lately. 3 for 10, including 2 stakes wins here at Laurel Park, a $3 ROI. Maybe this horse is part of the pace picture as well.
Absolutely looks like he's going to be part of it. And I respect this barn mightily every time they come down here. It looks like they're live.
Spread race for me. 1-6-7-9 for Keith, 113.74 for me. We'll move on to race number 4. 3/4 of a mile, 40 down to 32. Non-winners of 2 life. This is the first leg of our middle pick 4 wager. We've got early, we've got middle, we've got late, and again, these payouts have been solid.
Yeah, I'm going to go Uncle Cat in here. Let's go right to the video spotlight. This is Samraj Singh. We're going to have a stat as well, but let's go to the video. I'm going back to November 10th, 20 for the last time this one was seen sprinting at Laurel Park.
Uncle Cat's traveling really nicely down inside here and is kind of just looking for a seam over and behind horses, waiting to go, still on the left lead, just trying to pick her way through in between horses, and it really never worked out. You could tell the jock wanted to get outside, and it wasn't there, and now he's going to try to get in between horses, and he's going to get skunked a little bit and steadied in between. Again, a situation where I don't know if the horse wins if he gets through, but it just wasn't a comfortable trip where he could really extend to his full stride.
Yeah, I think he's got enough speed to stay close enough to Magic Express, who's going to take a slew of play here for Brittany Russell. Back to the condition claimer, the 2 in life. Troy Singh right now, here's your stat between
February 22nd.
Yeah.
Very good. Barn
April
is
Look at
freshening
this.
horses up 30%, almost a $4 ROI. Uncle Cat might be primed and ready to go in this race.
Look at the race, even on the go back at Timoni. I mean, look at the company, Bandcamp, Sugar Steve. Those horses were hot as could be back then. Yes, I think he can kind of just prompt that pace, maybe rest command through the lane and take it from there. These two, they look like the predominant speed in here. I think they carried a long way. That's the 7 Uncle Cat and the 5 Magic Express.
Take a shot with the 3. Actually, Set for Life is my top selection in this race. Set for Life last time out was taken back just a little bit. Split horses on the turn, got second in behind, an odds-on winner. That'll be my top selection in there. Set for Life. Stepping up, is that going to be too much for him?
It's a little bit of reach. He took a big jump last time, and he looked good doing it. I mean, Cruz got along with perfectly. It's not like they were flying out there. I think he might even get a little bit more flow in here, which could enhance that run. He was on and off, and again, if I can get an okay price with Uncle Cat, say 5-6 to 1, yes, he will be involved in my exacta tickets.
Yeah, I'm going 3, 8, 7, and 5. We'll talk a little bit about the 5, that being Magic Express. This horse is taking a big drop in class. This horse looks like the lone speed in this race. And last time he dueled with Swifty Devil, a really good horse we saw on the lead in the feature yesterday. He might not have to work hard at all. Second off a 315-day layoff. He just makes a lot of sense.
And he doesn't mind a little moisture. You go back to those races at Keeneland and Pimlico was just fine. A little bobble got him off his game, but that pace was just too swift last time. I don't know if anybody's got that opening quarter speed. I'm just hoping Uncle Cat, though, is tied on fresh enough to keep him in range.
7-5-1-4 for Keith, 3-8-7-5 for me in race number 4. Let's move on to race number 5. We're going a mile on the turf.
Yes.
This is a maiden.
This is the first level allowance on the bowl game with the rail at 17 feet.
The rail 17 feet.
Yes.
Nice field. Scratch the 12, 13, 14, and 15. Collection day is the 5 at 5 to 2 on the morning line.
Yeah.
You're going with the 10 in here. That is Rampageous. Let's talk a little bit around Rampageous, who beat 2 next out winners in the lone turf start.
You said it. I mean, that was it. This horse looks like he can bring a little bit better finish on the turf course as opposed to the main track. He followed through at the fairgrounds. Now, sometimes these numbers I've seen maybe a touch inflated, but proven there with some of these horses, the way they've come back out of that race to run against the right kind of double key. One of those horses came back to a 2 straight, I think paired up 85 on the Buyer's scale. Now, I know it's all not dependent on numbers, but this horse did seem to thrive on the turf down there and just finish the race much better. Had a little bit of tendency to flatten in these dirt races.
Hank's Divining Rod must deal with a layoff, but this horse really blossomed on the turf last year for Henry Walters. We have a video spotlight for Hank's Divining Rod. Take it away.
We've got a couple of horses here coming off the break that finished last season well. Hank's Divining Rod, Vaccination, similar styles as well. This particular afternoon, Hank's Divining Rod finds himself 5-6 out of it early, but is going to be able to kind of work through some traffic. You see right there at the 5/16 pole to the quarter, held up a little bit, and is going to be able to find a seam here in the yellow cap, the pinkish blinkers. Watch this. Good job by the rider, Hernandez, to work through patiently. Didn't kind of really force his way through, but makes his way a path. Sustains nicely. This horse really, look at this. It's transferred, how the numbers have gone up, and up. Running against the right kind. Obviously got through this state break condition. Now goes for the open A other than, along with Vaccination.
Grand Motion sends out Soleil Volant, the number 8. This is a horse that has a lot of upside potential. This horse making a first start off the layoff. They tried synthetic on a mile and a quarter last time out. I'm not interested in that race. And you don't worry about layoffs with Graham. We've got a trainer stat for Soleil Volant, and it's first after layoff between 120 and 180 days, and it's 35 for the last 173, and it's 20%, and it's a $2.05 ROI. So Soleil Volant, good trainer stat, huh?
Yeah, believe in the stat. And I'm going to throw you another one, too. You look at that synth to turf angle for him down to the bottom of the DRF. 27% strike rate, ROI over $5. Yeah, when you just kind of look at this horse, the last synth number grabs you, but the turf maybe not so much. But your proven stat there with Soleil Volant, I think, makes this one a player in here as well. Karinga, I think the 9 is okay in here.
Sure.
Again, from a speed standpoint, looking at the flow, Durr Smart possibly, Mr. Mendelslew, but I like the way this horse has just responded. The blinkers have come off. He's a little bit more relaxed. He's taking the rating. He's finishing up his races. Now stretching out to 2 turns. You go back to a 2-year-old race on the turf. That works. I think he's a player from start to finish.
Vaccination is a horse that needs pace, and he didn't get it in his recent turf start. 2 starts back, they ran 1-2 around the track, and he just couldn't make up the needed ground. I think he gets a better flow here.
No doubt about it. And look back on the page. He's run well enough off of a layoff prior, being a horse like Crabs and Beer. I mean, you're right with Crabs and Beer. Yeah, we saw him really run okay in the stakes. Was it last week or the week before when he had some trouble? So Vaccination certainly can ramp it up. And he's made runs into slower flows in the past.
10, 9, 11, 7 for Keith. 7, 8, 10, 11 for me in race number 5. 5 down, 6 to go. We're going to take a break. We'll come back with the first leg of the 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6.
Baltimore! To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness.
All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head-on-head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner. And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole.
American Pharaoh, phenomenal in the Preakness.
And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Here is Smarty Jones. He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths.
She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
Welcome back to Today at the Races. I'm Dan. He's Keith. 5 down, 6 to go. Race number 6, 5.5 furlongs on a turf course currently rated good. 45,000 down to 36 maidens. A maiden, Maryland bred or sired, may waive the claiming price. Take out the 9 Super Lasting Secret. Take out the 15 Nakanara, the 16 Minister. That brings the 14 Enduring Gold into this race. It is the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 wager. We have a carryover. It's creeping up to almost 5,000.
Yeah, almost 5,000. And what a race we've got here. Race 6. Just a a bang-up kind of a race. Elon looks like maybe the horse to beat. This 5-horse for Fennica Bentley, Jose Betancourt, he's run considerably well, but you've got to look value in here.
Oh, we got plenty of value in here, and that's a great way to play the Jackpot Super High 5. It is a $1 wager, carryover creeping up to $2,000. But you can go so many different ways in this race, and that's where we're going. You're going with Dat's Tap, and the last time Dat's Tap ran on turf, this horse just got cooked on a speed duel. You go back to the prior turf race, it was much better.
Much better. A little slower flow that day, but was able to stay involved till very late. The race we're talking about, November 9th, cooked. Firmly rated, though, early into that flow, made the move, then faltered. If ever a horse looked like it maybe needed first-time Lasix, we're going to get it today. The barn is heated up. This horse is going to go, second-time gelding overall, first-time gelding on the turf. I like some angles here for barn going well. Troy's saying Dat's Tap a shot at a good number.
I'm playing some wacky horses today, and if even one of them scores, I'm taking home the track. And I think the 6 One True Dude is one of them, a first-time starter for Ferris Allen. Not a ton of black type in this pedigree, but the dam won on turf, on dirt, on synthetic. The second dam loved synthetic racing. Maybe this horse will handle the turf. Again, Ferris Allen does not have greatest numbers with first-time starters, but he sent out Regency Tail to run second on debut a couple of weeks ago. That horse was 12 to 1. This horse will be a good price. I just don't love the established form, so I'm looking for a stranger.
You have to look for it here. I think you start in that 8 to 1 range, and you go from there. This race is so wide open. Let's talk about Elon. We'll get to that one. We can
Let's
real
talk
quick.
about Elon.
Yeah, Elon is a horse. He's had 9 starts. He's been in the money 4 times on the turf. Has speed. Has been shown the ability to sit just off of it and move in. Not sealing the deal, and at the number I'm going to get, I just can't go there on top.
Never got a breather on turf in the most recent start. 23-3, 23-4. Runner-up from that race went down to Tampa Bay, won 2 in a row. Buyers of 78 and 83. This horse fits here. The 10 Z Bogdan was the horse that injured Forrest Boyce, unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago. Now, thankfully, Forrest is back and in riding form. Z Bogdan was entered for a $25,000 tag on dirt that day and is now entered on turf. There's a lot of class in this pedigree, but there's also a lot of dirt in this pedigree. But Milan Milosevic pulled off a big upset last year with a horse named Sugar Bee at 45 to 1. Maybe Z Bogdan can do it again.
Absolutely. Uncle Enos, they can kind of run on any surface. They popped up. Well, that was the Boniface horse the other day. He did it from dirt to turf, the Uncle Eno. City Panda, another stranger here for me. City of Light, 15% with the turfs. Look at this form. Just not that good. But what grabbed me is half to a horse that was 3 for 11, ran okay, hit the board a lot, topped in an 83. Just that combination in a real guess of a race. Why not? And I know D Hopper, the other
speed in the rail.
Rudy Rod horse, and you get J Rod going to be going ahead and running and gunning from the inside. What about the 4 as well? Royal Renegade, out of a mare who I used to love. Really nice.
Royal Renegade was a stakes winner on the turf. 82 buyer speed figure on the grass. This horse is very well bred, very well connected with Lizzie Merriman. I won't be surprised at all if this horse wins. Should take a little bit of money. Fin Dioro, the 7, is out of a did well sprinting on the turf. Bay Finn earned a 74. Turf buyer with stakes placed on the surface. Maybe that's a horse you might want to consider a little bit.
Yeah, that was a horse who cracked second into Jamestown, I think, right off the bat. Did that mare Bay Finn. Yeah, lots
Fun
of ways
race.
to go. Yeah,
Wild to kick off our pick 6. Wild for the Super High 5.
Good luck.
8-5-2-7 for Keith. 6-10, 5-14 for me in race number 6. Let's take a look at race number 7.
All right.
Allowance race going a mile and a 16th. 6 horses in here. Gold Lightning shipping down from New York is your 6-5 morning line favorite. First leg of the late pick 5 with a 12% takeout. That's why we call it the value pick 5. Mackenzie Pfeiffer has a ticket.
Oh, Mac ticket. Here we go. $30 ticket. 1-6 to get you rolling. Gold Lightning for Linda Rice. And the 6 Skip Through the Fire. Kind of a sneaky horse. You know, just kind of getting better and better. And should be able to kind of draft in and work an okay trip. Race 8. 10, 11, 13. Rad Paisley, Boss is a Pal again. There's Suzanne Stanhanius. This is her time of year. Single, race 9. Haley's First Notion. Really impressive last time out for Gary Capuano, and a big spread here in race number 10. Tricky race. We know Motion's going to take a lot of play with a 9, but I like her 10 horse she's got in here. She's going to go 2, 4, 5, 9, 10. Wraps it up with a 2 and a 3. Just the thing, sweet no in race number 11 for a $30 late value pick 5 with that 12% takeout.
Our joint top selection in race number 7 is the 1 Gold Lightning. We do have a video spotlight for Gold Lightning. This horse just didn't have a chance first time for Linda Rice. Stumbles so badly at the start, and not only does that just take a lot of the starch out of a horse, take a look at it again. This horse just basically goes down to his nose, and it's had to take something out of him. And then there's just no pace going on. They run 1-2 all the way around the track. He was in it all the way to the top of the stretch, and what I like most is he'd never stopped trying.
No, she was, I thought, all in all, taken wide, 3 to 4 wide pretty much throughout against those slower internals. The leaders just go ahead and dictate inside. But I like the effort. You look back at her races on the turf, she's going to have to come away cleaner and show me a little quicker turn of foot. I think this is the right kind of company. Now, she's only won 1. You're going to get a horse like Sister Supreme, who's quick, going to get out of there. I hope she can start ramping things up and leveling off by the far turn. That's my biggest concern, but here's a stat for Linda Rice.
Second off layoffs between 2 and 4 months, 13 for the last 42, over 30% of positive ROI. Toledo must take advantage of the rail draw. Break well, cut the corner, save as much ground, and get relatively close to the pace. Skip Through the Fire showed that a mile wasn't a problem last time out. They stretched this horse out in distance, looked very, very good rallying from off the pace. Now he's going to have to do it around 2 turns. It's interesting that Corrales, for the most part, has kept this horse around 1 turn, but they're going to give it a shot, and why not? Arguably in career form and loves a wet track.
Yes, loves the wet track, and I think gets the right kind of field. You've got a shorter field. You don't have to worry about getting too wide. You've got horses just to the inside, Rousey Express. So they're going to go. So she shouldn't be well out in the track by the time they hit the backstretch. Settle. Going to need maybe just a touch of help to see if somebody can kind of go after Sister Supreme a little bit earlier. But I like the improved form and just steadily increasing the distance for this Daughter of Frisian Fire.
Sister Supreme looks like the lone speed in here, but this horse was the lone speed last time out and just couldn't seal the deal. We'll see if the wet track carries Sister Supreme for top trainer Jamie Ness.
That was that day, though, the 5th. It was kind of a little bit outer lean. Those horses were closing, sustaining runs. Dixie Groove, I think, came back from the clouds. That was a horse that we had. That was that Park Shipper.
Same super for us.
Okay.
1-6-2-5 in race number 7. Race number 8, 5.5 on the turf. Starter optional claimer. Take out the 3 to Wolfman. 7 Joe Phillips. The 14 Bourbon Courtesy. The 15 Sue Loves Barbados. 16 is in race number 8, which is the first leg of our final 50-cent pick 4 of the afternoon. This is a pretty interesting race. We got to start off with Boss is a Pal. Just a consistent, tactical, hard-hitting horse. Runs well fresh, and we have a video spotlight for Boss is a Pal.
And he ended 2024 with a big effort going long. I didn't see that coming. But we're going to go back to April 21st. This is off a similar layoff coming in last year. Really good effort. Look at the comment inside. We're going to give you that visual as best we can with the short comment on our Echo-based notes. Rouse quarter pole, confidently handled here by J-Rod into the lane and just kind of edges away, digs in late. Love this guy. He kind of reminds me a little bit of the longer version of Tom Hagen, who we saw yesterday coming off the break.
And this horse was so game in his most recent start, going 2 turns, fast internal fractions, chasing it, tried hard. He's a turf sprinter, I think. This is what he wants, and there's not a lot of proven turf speed in here. Rad Paisley does have some early speed, maybe a couple of others, but I think this horse is going to get the jump on the true closers, and one of them is just a wild stab, and Mike with the 4-star Weaver. Now, this horse's form just doesn't look good on paper, but I don't think this is a dirt horse. He's 1 for 20 lifetime on dirt. He's 5 for 24 lifetime on turf and synthetic. He hasn't raced on turf since, what, 2021? This horse was in good form on synthetic before they had to put him away for a year and a half. And since they brought him back, it's just been one dirt race after another. I'm gambling that he's better on turf. I'm gambling that he's better away from the dirt, but I need pace because he has no speed.
You're going to definitely need some pace. He's going to be a huge, huge number. What do you got him lined at 15?
15,
you might even have a little bit more. But again, you've got a horse like Rad Paisley, who absolutely does his best work on the front end. Bosses of Powell likes to lay close. You've got the Kieran horse that draws in for Kieran McGee. Louisianimal. It's, I think, got to be forward, got to get positioned. So maybe just maybe you get kind of the right kind of flow and blow up the tote.
Island Delight, the number 2, runs well fresh and took 2 turf beautifully last time out. Nice rallying effort that day for Island Delight, and this horse is an interesting contender and might be overlooked a bit.
This is a trainer who can just kind of jump up and scored a big, big number. How can you fault the effort last time out? Yes, 38-1. Will not be close to that today. I love the draw. This is a horse that's got enough speed to lay close enough and showed the finish against Be Determined, another horse, Satenius, that I've always liked. So running against the right kind in that turf debut, he's a user for me.
13 Southern Horse. Welcome back, Jorge Hernandez. Southern Horse has some good turf form on the go back out of town. They tried a mile with him last time out. He kind of worked in and out. The horse, I think Tom Hagen eventually kind of drifted in front of him late. He was running on. He's on his tough post.
Yeah, and we got a stat right here for Corrales, I believe, for Southern Horse. This guy, he's tough. Look at this record. But Corrales, route the sprint. Look at this 4 for the last 19, 21% with a 241 ROI. Yes, I think Southern Horse is a player in here from off the pace.
You're going 11, 2, 13, 4. I'm going with a big price. 4, 13, 11, and 2 in race number 8. Race number 9, we're going 6 furlongs. This is our feature, second level allowance, 40 down to 32, the optional claiming range. 8 horses in this race. The 7, Haley's First Notion. I think this horse, if he continues on a trend, is a Maryland Million sprint kind of horse.
I can definitely see it. And in that last race, we'll go right to the video. I was down at Ellery with the Ellery trials that particular weekend, and I looked. I said, "How did this horse get bit down like this? I mean, got throttled at the windows. Was already behind Elvis himself. Bet down to $1.51. Man, was on his game, into the pace, battling. Took to a little coaxing around the turn and just blew doors off of him top of the stretch.
To show that kind of speed inside Elvis, that's saying something, because that horse is very, very fast. You had a feeling this horse needed the first run off the layoff. He was primed and ready for this. He doesn't need the lead to win. Great outside draw. He's got Gary Kapp in his corner. Last out winners on dirt, almost 40%, a positive ROI. What do you do with the 6? Play Harder, who won 5 of his first 6 starts, including a restricted stake via disqualification. His last race last year was not good at all. Long layoff, new barn, first time gelding. If he can still run, he fits with these. Yeah,
this is a real head scratcher for me. This guy's shown serious ability, and we've seen some of these horses move into the next barn for the Rising Sun. They've done just fine. A little bit of a wait and see approach. I think I can trust Haley's First Notion. Gary Kapp, another stat. You're worried about maybe a possible bounce. 6 for 10, coming off of a top figure, sprinting on the main track with a 270 ROI over the last couple years. A great draw here. If anybody wants to go ahead and go, I think you can spy as well.
And they got the Classmaster from the rail factored in, a multiple stakes winner dropping in for the 40. He just fits with these horses. And we've got a trainer stat for Carlos Mancia. This horse was overmatched in a stake last time out. When Mancia puts the Lasix back on, 33%, giant ROI. This horse has the tactical speed to save ground and finish.
And going to a rider, Ruiz. This combo, owner-trainer, pay attention. I think he's live in here. He's got enough positional speed to lay close enough turning for home and make it a real horse race.
7164 for Keith, 6174 for me in race number 9. Race number 10, first leg of the late double, mile on the turf, first level allowance, take out the AE, the 11, Miss Annabella. We're going to start things off with your top selection in here, the 10 Chantilly Road, going out for Brittany Russell. Here's the power of BTR as we take a look at this trainer stat. From August the 10th, if you just bet nothing but Brittany between August the 10th and April the 9th, you don't need to handicap. You don't need to listen to us. You don't need to get the racing form. You make money.
It's an easy game.
29% in a positive ROI. It's remarkable.
Problem is, I don't do that. That's
Maybe we're doing something wrong.
That's the big problem. You could just bang me over the head with that stat. It's just not going to sink in. But no, Chantilly Road off the break here. I thought the last race was maybe a little bit better than what it shows. Didn't come away the clean. It's a little sluggish out of the gate. Horse next to it, I think, just missed the break completely. He might have reacted to that and then had steady off heels, angled out, was caught wide, and just never really ramped it up. But that was a better field than what it looks at Mama. Double key race, Castile. That horse galloped, I think, recently in a 2 event at the fairgrounds. Some good horses in there. Not a ton of true speed. Now, this horse hasn't gone out and set any kind of blazing fractions in its races, but for this particular field, fresh drawing outside, I think will get great position early and be a stayer against this group. Your top selection, a real big number here, and You Make Me Charlie.
You Make Me Charlie has some turf pedigree as a half to Annex, who was a multiple stakes winning turf miler, 86 turf buyer. We have a trainer stat from Michael Trombetta, second time Lasix, 26%, 225 ROI. This horse overcame traffic to win the debut, acted up very badly in the second lifetime start, faced a good field last time. It didn't run well last time, but it was the first off of a long layoff. I think stretching out and switching to turf might make all the difference. But let's be honest, they're all going to have him nailed on tight to beat this horse, the 9 Royal Wintour, and we have a video spotlight on the horse to beat for Graham.
And one of the best renditions, right, of the Hilltop Stakes at Pimlico last year, Preakness weekend. Just unfortunate. This horse was traveling okay. Down inside, leaving the far turn, gets in a pickle here. A little clip heels, a little steady check, and that was it. All momentum was gone from there. It's amazing that Ruiz was able to stay tied on. It was great to see them come away unscathed. We haven't seen her since, going back to her other races and who she keys up against. We'll take a ton of play in here. Looks certainly the one to beat to me.
You can watch Graham's Fair Hill workouts on his website. This horse won the last company workout, at least the gallop out, by several lengths. I think she's going to come back firing. I think she just might simply be the best horse, and I expect her to take money. 10-9-7-4 for Keith, 5-9-10-6 for me in race number 10. We'll close things out. Race 11, 5.5, 12-5 down to 10. Now winners of Two Life in here. Just the Thing is going to be my top selection in this race, and we do have a stat for Just the Thing and Thunder in Paris, both trained by Corrales. We mentioned he's been hot recently. Had a winner yesterday, right, Jose?
There it is.
22%, 294 ROI, so that stat went up. Hazelwood had his choice of these 2 horses, lands on the 2. Just the Thing, who is not a win machine, but I think is going to appreciate the wet track and is consistent enough to work out a good trip and at least at the board again.
Didn't expect to see her that close last time either. She hasn't really shown that turn of foot. Granted, opening quarter 23-1. I go to the 3, Sweet No. Definitely quicker internals against. I thought maybe a little bit better. Cluck's in good form. Tune to the Moon came back and ran well. So I think this one with a better break. You look at her last 2, rank has start bump, step slow, 2 races back. Just come away cleanly. We're going to get Villalobos today. That combo can get it done. So owner trainer. I like this one from just off. I think she's going to be actually a little bit closer today with any kind of break.
Double drops in class into this non-winners of Two Life after facing multiple race winners. That's a big angle. Read the conditions always. You're going 3, 2, 6, and 4. I'm going 2, 3, 6, and 4 in the finale. Best play time. Where are you going?
Value play. I had to kind of go back and forth, and I got. Where did I go?
Uncle Cat.
I got. Look at this. I got so much stuff written down on this paper. Uncle Cat, absolutely. Samraj Singh, freshened up, has speed, can't let Magic Express get too far away. But I think coming back into this conditional claimer is going to do wonders for this one. Uncle Cat from just off of it.
Give me some pace, give me some kick. I'm going with the 2 in race 2. La Chica for Tequila. Needs to stay at least within range, but I think this horse will run late, and we'll correct the spelling for tequila a little bit later. We've got Mackenzie Pfeiffer and this fella named Mike Beer who's going to take you through the 11 race card in the afternoon. And we've got this fella named Dave Rodman. He's also known as the voice of the Preakness. He's upstairs with scratches and changes.
It's like All-Star Weekend here at Laurel Park.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Laurel Park. Main track muddy on the turf, rated good. Temperature in the upper 60s, winds out of the southwest at about 10 miles per hour. Here's a review of your Laurel Park changes. In the first race, one before the wind, 1 over. Scratch number 2 for the love of run. 3 simply disregarded is 2 over. Number 5, Regalo Perfetto is 1 over. Scratch the 7, Tell 'em I'm coming. Number 10, Jurisprudence, workout March 22nd at Belmont, 5 furlongs, 102 2/5. Breezing from the gate. Scratch 13, RJ. Second race, number 2, La Chica Tequila. Jockey Thais La Postina on number 2. Third race, scratch number 2, Elusive Image. The 4, Colonel Bob, is 2 over. Fourth race, 3 Set for Life is 5 over. Fifth race, number 1, Baravina Boulevard, 1 over. 3 Dare Smart, 3 over. For Mr. Mendelslew, 4 over. Scratch the alternates 12, 13, 14, and 15. Artwell Bonded, Chris's Revenge, and Modica. Sixth race, number 2, City Panda, 3 over. 3 Great Artist is 1 over. 4 Royal Renegade is 1 over. 7 Findoro, 3 over. Scratch the 9, Super Lasting Secret. Number 10, Z Bogdan, 1 over. 12 Warriors Notion, 3 over. Scratch the 15, Nakanera. Scratch the 16, Minister. Race 6. 7th race. No changes in the 7th race. 8th race. Scratch number 3, the Wolfman. Scratch 7, Joe Phillips. 12, Up in Flames is 2 over. Scratch 14, Bourbon Currency. Scratch 15, Sue Loves Barbados. Ninth race, no changes. 10th race. Number 3, Force of Laws, 2 over. 5, You Make Me Charlie, 2 over. Scratch the 11, Miss Annabella. 11th race. Number 1, Perfect Pink, 1 pound over the weight. Track muddy and the turf is good. Value pick 5s, early and late, 12% takeout. Chesapeake pick 6 carryover, 4,983. Jackpot Super High 5 carryover, 1,940. 16 minutes to post time. Good luck this afternoon at Laurel Park.